The conversation continues on Houston's Morning News with Matt Patrick.
KTRH News Time is 6:16, and joining me right now, Matagorda County Judge and Rancher Nate McDonald and Matthew Tejada, who's the Executive Director of the Air Alliance Houston. Gentlemen, welcome to Houston's Morning News. It's great to have you both with me.
Thank you, Matt.
Matthew, let me start with you. What is it that the EPA thinks is such a big problem in Matagorda County?
Well, the EPA looked at emissions numbers, not just for Matagorda County, but for a lot of the counties surrounding existing non-attainment areas here in Texas and around the rest of the United States. And when they got those numbers back from Matagorda County, the levels of two different types of chemicals, both nitrogen oxides and volatile organic compounds, which are the two things that make ozone, were higher in Matagorda County than they are in a lot of the other counties that are already in our non-attainment area.
All right, let me ask the judge here. Judge McDonald, why do you think that is, and why do you think the EPA is focusing on Matagorda County? This sounds like an overreach to me.
Well, it's absolutely an overreach, and I can't tell you why they're focusing on Matagorda County. I can tell you that the EPA's numbers, flawed is too soft a term, so they're just patently incorrect. And if you take TCEQ's numbers, which were derived from actual modeling and testing in Matagorda County, you'll find that the NOx numbers that Mr. Tejada just spoke to by the EPA's testing are 42% higher than what they are by the TCEQs.
And Matt, already Mayor Anise Parker from Houston has said that she doesn't think this is a problem for Houston. So why is the federal government sticking their nose in it?
Well, I don't think we really have the information for anybody to say whether or not this is or is not a problem for Houston. Some of the information out there that the EPA is using indicates that it is a problem for Houston. We can't really say exactly how big a problem, but the modeling that Judge McDonald referred to actually has not been done. What the TCEQ has are emissions estimates that are lower than what the EPA has for NOx, but the VOC numbers, the volatile organic compound numbers, the TCEQ says are spot on from the EPA. The real science that we need in order to make this decision has not been completed.
Gentlemen, let me take a quick break here. When we come back, let me tell you what I think the big problem is. I know you were all just waiting for that. So let me tell you what I think the big problem is. KTRH News Time is 6:21, and joining me right now, Matagorda County Judge and Rancher Nate McDonald, also Matthew Tejada. He's the Executive Director of Air Alliance Houston. We're talking about the EPA saying that Matagorda County is spewing some things into the air that are wafting into Houston and causing some problem, most of it ozone, according to Mr. Tejada. Here's what I think, and I'm going to start with the judge this time. I believe what the government is trying to do is somehow eliminate, slow down, negate White Stallion Energy Center, which is a coal and petroleum coke-fired power plant that is supposed to be built near Bay City, about 75 miles southwest of Houston. I don't think the government wants this built. We all know how Obama feels about coal. Judge, what do you think about that idea?
Well, it's certainly a premise that's been floated out there. In fact, Mr. Tejada has floated it out there himself, as have others in positions of responsibility, and it's unfortunate that those folks can't separate the two questions.
Mr. Tejada, is that the problem? Are you trying to shut down this project?
No, and the judge continues to misquote me on this. I do not think the EPA is floating this proposal because they want to shut down White Stallion. I think White Stallion, though, focused an enormous amount of attention, particularly environmental attention, on Matagorda County. And once folks looked at Matagorda County, they found out, wow, there's 3 or 4 plants down there that actually put out a fairly significant amount of NOx and especially a fairly significant amount of volatile organic compounds. And when you compared that to other counties in the region, even counties that are already being regulated for ozone, Matagorda had higher emissions levels. So no way do I believe that the EPA is doing this to try to stop the White Stallion coal-fired power plant. I think that power plant, though, focused their attention on Matagorda County, and oops, look at what they found when they did that. And further, if White Stallion really is such a problem, this would, though, be, from my perspective, if I was living in Matagorda County and I did not want to see the White Stallion coal-fired power plant built, this would be the final nail in its coffin.
All right, Judge, your response.
To Mr. Tejada?
Yes, sir.
I've heard with my own ears what he said at a regional air quality planning commission meeting, so he can talk about misquoting or he can talk about spot on, but fact is, white stallion has been a very large question in Matagorda County, but it's a completely different question from the non-attainment question, and the two should never meet. Unfortunately, with a number of folks, it has, and it has brought attention, but I can tell you that if Mr. Tejada believes that Matagorda County is spewing toxins from 3 or 4 plants, as he mentioned, he's doubled down on the number because there are only 2, and those 2 have lowered their NOx emissions by 16% while in attainment. We should be a role model, for gosh sake.
All right, gentlemen, I'm going to leave it right there. It is obviously a contentious argument. We'll certainly keep our eye on it and have you both back as we move forward.